Yes, good guys. I just wanted to do a weekly recap in the markets and the two options trades that I took. So here we have SPY. As you can see, it's kind of been moving in a range recently, both of the indices, the S&P and the Nasdaq. Typically when the indices are moving weird like this and they're just going up and down and volatile, you kind of want to avoid trading a lot because you don't want to get caught in a direction that blows your account up with an overnight gap up or gap down. But it is kind of interesting here, and I do want to point out that the 8-day moving average is about to go below the 21-day on QQQ. It's not quite there yet on the S&P, but I'm sure it can catch up pretty fast. And I'm not saying we are going to drop down lower than this, but just keep in mind that it is a huge possibility that we continue to drop and make new lows, breach this previous low, even though we did hold the 50-day moving average nicely every time. But that is something to keep in mind. Maybe don't overexpose yourself and get too confident that we're going to pump to all-time highs. Just keep in mind that there is a possibility that we have a bigger correction in the market because of how much we've been pumping recently. When I saw these gap ups, I knew something wasn't right, and obviously we came back down, filled those, tested the 50-day moving average after that. Again, that is something to keep in mind, that there could be a bigger correction on the way, and you need to prepare for it. But anyways, that's how the indices were looking. But let's get into some of my trade recaps from this week. First trade I had, which I alerted in my Discord and a friend of mine's Discord, which you can join both in my description. So as you can see right here, NBIS is a data center stock. Pretty much, data centers were looking kind of weak after a huge run up, and I noticed that the 8-day was below the 21, and then we rejected hard off the 21 of the 8-day here. So instantly I was looking at shorts and continuation downside. So this day we kind of had a little bump up from the previous close, and then as soon as we broke this previous low of the day, I entered my puts. I got 95 put expiring November 21st. The reason I got far out strike price to what it was just because of the contract price, and also I had pretty strong feeling that we were going to continue downwards, and that would have been a high percent gain for me personally. And also there's a king node on heat seeker at 80, which if you don't know what it is, I'm probably going to make a video on it sometime soon, but it's just a tool that shows the gamma and the Vanna levels of strike prices and expiration dates. Very nice tool. But that being said, 80 king node, which means that it's kind of acts like a magnet, right? These king nodes act like a magnet, so I kept that in mind. That was just another confluence to add. So once we broke this previous low day, I got my put, and then I trimmed half of my position at the end of this day, and then I got out fully right here once we broke this low right here. And contracts went from 350 to 1285 per contract, which is just incredible. One of my best plays this year for sure. I'm very happy with this trade. I was so confident in it just because of all the confluence I had, and it played out quite literally perfectly. And I wouldn't doubt that this week it does end up hitting 80 and potentially even filling this gap down here at 66. But there are a lot of good short opportunities right now in the market, guys, because the market isn't really doing anything. It's kind of moving in a range like I was talking about. So a lot of these stocks that were having good pumps over the summer and the beginning of the fall, they're starting to retrace a little bit, right? Aerospace, data centers, some AI stocks, quantum. It's all something to look at, not just to play calls, but also to play the other side puts. Next up, we have RKLB. Really nice trade here as well. It peaked about 55% when I took full profit. So I got in this later than I wanted to, I'll admit. I was watching it, but then I missed my entry on this date. I was really mad about it because it was a downside hammer. We wicked off the 8 and 50-day moving average, and this thing just looked primed to go lower. But I missed that entry, but then I ended up getting at the open as soon as this flipped from green to red because, it came up a little bit, filled this mini gap, and then as soon as it switched red, I bought my puts. And then I got in this pretty heavy, and I got 1219 put, I believe. Now, super 4-hour expiration, just because I didn't know how long I was going to hold it. But it was also the best one for the bid to ask spread as well. The November 21st ones had a big spread, and I didn't mess with that. Then came down, hit this previous low, and I trimmed half my position. And then I took my full profits as soon as we gapped down on this day right here for about 55%. So that was a really nice play there, and I'm really happy with it. I've pretty much only been watching put plays. Any opportunities I'm looking to get calls, I feel like just get shut down pretty much, which is a shame, but that's how this market is. And, I need to remind myself that I can play puts as well, and I honestly love shorting the market. I feel like some of my best plays are shorting, whether it's futures, options, whatever. Those are literally my only two options plays this week, and, I'm still learning that I don't need to trade every day, and I don't need to get every opportunity. I'm only finding ones that I'm the most confident in, and I'm getting into them with size because I'm confident. And again, like I said, I'm still learning that and getting into the habit of not entering every setup that looks good. You know, picking just a couple and going heavy in them because you are confident, that is more important than throwing light size in a bunch of different ones. It is best to go heavy in something that you are confident in and that meets all your check boxes than it is to get into something that you kind of have an uneasy feeling about, because 90% of the time, if you have an uneasy feeling about it, it's not even going to work out. And if it does, it just reinforces bad habits. So stick to your rules and remember, less is more. Yeah, that was pretty much it for options. I did end up having a really good week with futures. I made about $2,200 on the XFA on Top Step, which is really nice. I'm getting closer and closer to my payout, so I will be making a video on that sometime soon and going over my strategy and stuff like that for futures. But I have been focusing a lot there. But recently, I've pretty much only been looking for shorts again because, like I said, and I was looking at IBKR, for example, right? If we could break this previous day high, push it to new all-time highs, got obliterated. Looking at Planet Labs, PL, obliterated. Like, everything that I'm looking at for calls is just getting killed. This one I missed, unfortunately, VKTX. I really like this setup, but the spread was kind of weird, so, like, I stopped paying attention to it for a second. Next thing you know, just rocketed, hit my target of 42.50. I know a lot of people had Rivian in the Discords, but I missed this one, and it didn't even end up fully playing out. I mean, instantly came down and tanked. I was looking at this as well, and I missed my original entry here on this day, but, I mean, thankfully I did because, again, it just got killed. Like, this is why I'm kind of don't know how I feel about calls because it's just, everything is just getting killed. I am watching UPS. I did want it to catch to the 8-day moving average, and it did. So this is something that I am watching to aim for this previous high, which would be a really nice play, but probably a break of this previous day high, and it'll go. Not many trades that I took this week, and like I said, just keep an eye out on the market. Don't go oversized and say, oh, we're going to come out and make new highs. Just be prepared for anything, and keep your eyes open for long opportunities, shorts opportunities, and only get in stuff that you are the most confident in. There's always opportunity. The market is going to be here tomorrow. So no reason to, blow your account on a setup that didn't even check all your boxes. And I have learned that the hard way, trust me. But I'm going to be making a focus list video for Sunday. And soon I'm going to make a future strategy video. I believe I've said that before, but I'm still refining my strategy and perfecting it. So I don't want to jump into it too fast, but that is going to come eventually. So stay tuned for that. Let me know what stocks you guys are looking at, and let me know how your week went. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.